This is an ex-Muslim channel which tries to spread the truth of Islam among Muslim people in order to make them humanist rationalist. We don't intend to insult or hate people based on their religion or faith. To understand this thing, we have to know the life of Prophet Muhammad completely by knowing every single incident from his birth till his death, so that we can reach the conclusion that was he really a prophet, or was it all an imagination of his mind? And by moving forward, how did he turn this mental weakness into his strength, and how did he convert millions of people to Islam before he died? How did all this become possible? To remove the veil from this truth, I am doing this series in which we are going to know each and every incident in his whole life, that means story behind every battle he fought, along with reality of revelation of verses of Quran, and events behind all his wives and story of all his companions, so that we can understand Muhammad completely. In this entire series, we will look at the points which clearly reveal that the whole life of Muhammad, only human nature was present, there was no interference of anything like God. Muhammad has done only those things in his life which perhaps a king would have done in his life. Remember that my purpose of making this series is not to hurt Muslims' belief in any way and to show any other religion high or low. My aim is only to tell the reality to the Muslims, so that just as I have come out of the darkness of Islam, in the same way those people can also come out of this religion. That's why my videos should reach as many Muslims as possible, so that they too can come out of religious evil. It is really a matter of wonder, that even if we try to narrate a good and dignified story from the life of Muhammad, then this work will be impossible. Because after reading the history of Muhammad, it is clearly visible that there was no interference of God in it. Muhammad also used to say in his life that I am only a common prophet and a servant of Allah. God has not given me any miracle, as was given to the earlier prophets. And what has been created in the name of Muhammad, cannot be proved to be true in any way, because the caliphs who brought such character into the existence of Islam had pitched in their own time, which have nothing to do with science and logic even far and wide. In this series I will explain only those mythologies in which Islamic scholars themselves believe, and for this work I will take the support of books like Quran, Hadith, Tafsir, ancient Sirat, i.e. biography written on Muhammad's life like Ibn Hisham, Tabaqat ibn Sa'd, Tariq al-Tabri, al-Bidayah wal-Nihaya, books like Sirat Halbiya, and for some of the stories that are somewhat related to Shia belief I will also reference to the books of Ibn Hisham as well. This will be a long series, and I will try that every video of this series be completely perfect on its own topic. Means each video to be a complete on its own topic, so that if someone watches any video of this series even from the middle, then that much story will be complete in itself. But my recommendation would be to watch this series from the beginning, from which if anyone has very little knowledge of Islam and the life of Muhammad, then he too will get to know and learn a lot through this series. Well, now let's talk about today's topic. A year ago from today I made a video on the day of birth and death of Muhammad. I was going to make a video on birth of Muhammad instead of death, but then I changed my decision, because my intention is not to give this message to the people that a person has anything to do with being good or bad with his birth. A child is always born innocent, no matter if his father was legal or illegal. And I am against of it that anyone should be judged based on this. And this is called humanity. Yes, it is wrong to judge someone on this from a human perspective. That's why I had never talked about this topic before, but this topic is especially full of strange stories that happened in the first 4 years of Muhammad's life, which had left a deep impact on his psychology, due to which Muhammad may have claimed to be a prophet. So let's get know the whole story related to his birth. Prophet Muhammad was born about 1400 years ago in a tribe named Quraysh of Mecca. At that time pagans lived in Mecca. Apart from it, Christianity, Judaism, and people of different religions were present together in the whole of Arabia. There is no exact date of birth confirmed of Prophet Muhammad when he was born, because every historian has written a different date for it. No one knows what the exact date was. Apart from this, the name of Muhammad's was Abdullah and his mother was Amina. Muhammad was the first and only one child of these two. There is also a lot of contradiction on when the marriage of Abdullah and Amina took place. It has a different date in each book. Ibn Hisham and Tabaqat have written that both of them were married 4 years before the birth of Prophet Muhammad. and like Ibn Kathir and other scholars claim date of their marriage about 6 years before the birth of Muhammad. Now let's see how these two got married. Tabit writes that Amina was in the custody of her uncle Wahab. At that time Abdul Muttalib, Muhammad's grandfather, went to his place with his son Abdullah, and then he asked for Amina's hand for his son Abdullah. After this, both of them got married. Exactly in this event, Abdul Muttalib expressed the desire of Wahab's daughter Hala for himself. Hala was the cousin of Prophet Muhammad's mother Amina, and then this marriage also took place. That is, the marriage of Abdullah and Amina as well as the marriage of Abdul Muttalib and Hala. Both of these marriages were done on the same day and same event, after which Hamza was born to Abdul Muttalib and Muhammad was born to Abdullah. Hamza was Muhammad's uncle in the relationship, but there was not much difference in the age of these two, as should be in a common uncle-nephew, because both of their parents were married together. It is a matter of wonder that a father is going to see the bride for his son, and then he himself marries the sister of the same girl. That is, age of marriages and relationship among the people of Arabia didn't matter at all. Apart from this, the Islamic history has been written in so much detail, which clearly shows that the story has been invented by the people of that time, and perhaps to prove that Muhammad was born from Abdullah, they also put a dirty allegation on the character of Muhammad's father Abdullah, in which he is trying to cheat his wife just the day after the wedding. Sirat Ibn Hisham Volume 1 page 160-161, Ibn Ishaq said that when Abdul Muttalib was carrying Abdullah's hand, they passed by a woman who was the sister of Warqa bin Nawfal. Warqa bin Nawfal, he was the same person who had put forward this misconception in the mind of Muhammad that he is a prophet, on whom we will talk in the coming episodes. Well, when these people passed by the sister of Warqa bin Nawfal, then that woman looking at Abdullah's face said, "O Abdullah, where are you going?" Abdullah said that I am going with my father. This woman said that I will give you that many camels, that much sacrificed in your fidya, you just go to bed with me. This was the story of Abdullah's childhood when Abdul Muttalib himself was about to sacrifice his son, but later he sacrificed 100 camels in return. Here the sister of Warqa bin Nawfal is offering herself to Muhammad's father Abdullah and also offering 100 camels, in response to which Abdullah just said that he is currently with his father. After this, his father took him and got him married to Amina, and after this, he did bedding with Amina, and soon after it, Muhammad also came under Amina's womb. After which Abdullah went back to the woman who had presented himself to Abdullah. Abdullah went to the woman and agreed to be with her. But the woman refused to Abdullah and said that day I saw a light on your face which has now disappeared. His story shows that to make Muhammad look special, the story of his father cheating on his wife was also put. And not just one, but 2 stories. Let's see the another one. Another similar offer was made to Abdullah by another woman named Fatima bint Murrah, like the sister of Warqa bin Nawfal, and Abdullah again goes to the woman and says to her, "Do you agree to what you said earlier?" But that woman did not agree for Abdullah on the second occasion. Well, after the marriage of Abdullah and Amina, Amina was now pregnant, and Islamic scholars also wrote that Muhammad was born as a result of the first night of Abdullah and Amina. Well, this marriage did not last long, and after a few days Abdullah had passed away. A merchant convoy of Quraysh was going for trade in the Syria, Abdullah also with them. When this convoy was coming back to Mecca via Medina, then Abdullah's health deteriorated and then he just stopped there. The convoy later reached Mecca. Then when Abdul Muttalib came to know that Abdullah had stayed in Medina, he sent his eldest son Haris to Medina so that he could take care of Abdullah's health. When Haris reached there, he came to know that Abdullah had passed away. When Abdullah died, he was 25 years old and Muhammad was not still born to Amina. There are different narrations about this. Tabaqat Ibn Sad Volume 1 page 120, says that Rasul Allah was in his mother's womb when Abdullah passed away. Let's now have a look on events when people were asking him about his father. Muhammad's full name was Muhammad bin Abdullah, but the people of Mecca started calling him as Muhammad bin Abu Kabasha, that is, instead of Walid Abdullah, they were taunting Muhammad by taking someone else's name. First let's look what would have been the reason behind this allegation. As we have known earlier, Muhammad's father Abdullah and his grandfather Abdul Muttalib were both married together on the same day, and Islamic historians also wrote that Muhammad and Hamza were born as a result from the first bedding from their parents. So, the age of these two uncle and nephew should have been the same, because both of them were the first child of their parents, but Hamza was born in the first year of this marriage, but in that year, Muhammad was not born, and after the death of his father Walid Abdullah, Muhammad was born straight after 4 years, while that time Amina did not have any husband. In Al-Maghazi it is written that Ibn Abbas was 30 years older than Muhammad and Hamza was 4 years older than Muhammad. Whereas Yaqubi wrote that Muhammad was born after 2 years of marriage, that is, Islamic historians are contracting among themselves. Apart from this, it is written in Sirat Halbiya that Hamza was 2 years or 4 years older than Prophet Muhammad, while the marriages of both of their parents took place on the same day. Everyone's written words are self-contracted. Apart from all this, Kuturbi wrote a strange thing and said that a child can remain in the womb for 5 years under the womb of the mother, and it is also possible that a child can remain in the womb for 5 years or 10 years or even more. Now there is no doubt that such Islamic science is joke, because we know that a normal pregnancy is only 37 to 41 weeks, and the longest pregnancy can last only a few more weeks. It can never last for many years. So it is not possible to be pregnant for 4 or 6 years. And the longest pregnancy recorded in history of world was lasted only for 375 days. Perhaps this may have been the reason why people used to call Muhammad ibn Abu Kabasha, which is also mentioned in a hadith of Bukhari. Abu Sufyan used the word Abu Kabasha for Muhammad, because the disbelievers of Mecca used to taunt Muhammad by calling him by the son of Abu Kabasha. Abu Kabasha was the name of a person who worshipped the stars instead of idols. Well, no one knows what the truth is, and from the point of view of humanity it does not matter who is the father of someone. A person should be judged on the basis of his character, but religious morality is different from humanity. It is known from a Shia hadith. I once heard Abu Ja'far, alayhi al-salam, saying, "There is no goodness in one who is born out of wedlock, not in his skin, his hair, his flesh, his blood, and not in anything of him." The Ark of Noah failed to carry them even though dogs and pigs had embarked therein. While humanity says that no one should be judged on this matter, in the upcoming videos, we will know the story of Muhammad, about his childhood and what happened on what events. Apart from this, you can also watch my series, i.e. Khilafat Ka Kuni Kale Story Banu Qurayza.